Hello everyone, and welcome. Montana Forge Virtual Studio presents How to Install a Passage Lever Set. Passage levers are used on interior doors where no locking mechanism is required. You will be needing a Phillips head screwdriver as well as a cordless drill for this installation. Before we dig in, let's take a moment to review the exploded parts view on the lid inside the box. Carefully unwrap each piece and familiarize yourself with these components. You can set aside the strike plate along with 2 of the provided wood screws, as we will come back to these later in the video. The first component is referred to as the latch. Notice the flattened edge here, as it will be important to recognize in the steps ahead. The second components are the brown wood screws, and these will be used to secure the latch. The third component is the spindle. Make sure to locate the ball catch mechanism, as this will also be important in the steps ahead. Next component is the chassis. On the chassis is a small hole. Note that when installing for a privacy function, the holes always need to be installed on the side closest to the edge of the door. The next components are the chassis mounting screws. You can easily differentiate them from the wood screws, as they are silver in color, slightly longer, and have a small patch of blue Loctite. Next are the rosettes, and like the chassis, there is an interior and an exterior side. You will also find the 2 threaded collars and the collar tightening tool. The next components are the levers. Take special note of the small threaded hole at the bottom. Here you will find the pre-installed, partially tightened set screw. The final components are the small set screws and provided Allen wrench. Let's get started. Once you've removed the parts from their packaging, secure the latch into the edge of the door. Make sure the flat side of the latch bolt is facing the interior side of the door for in-swinging doors and facing the exterior side for out-swinging doors. Now, secure the latch using 2 of the wood screws provided. Next, install the spindle into the latch by pushing in the ball catch mechanism. Slide the spindle all the way through the latch until the ball catch pops back out on the other side. This ensures that the spindle is centered perfectly in the latch. Next, take the chassis out of the bag, and before installing, remember that the single hole on the sides of each of the 2 chassis parts should be positioned closest to the edge of the door on both sides. This positions the assembly screws at 12 and 6 o'clock. It doesn't matter which side of the door the assembly screws are on, because the rosettes will be covering the chassis on both sides. Now, install the chassis using the 2 silver screws with the patch of blue Loctite on their threads. Note, since the assembly screws have Loctite on them, you may feel some resistance when tightening. Tighten the assembly screws to be snug, but do not over-tighten. Now, if you haven't already, unwrap the 2 rosettes and the 2 levers or knobs. Locate the 2 threaded collars provided, along with the threaded collar tightening tool. Take one of the rosettes and put it over the chassis against the door. Slide the threaded collar over the post or spindle and tighten with the collar tightening tool. Tighten as much as possible. You can't over-tighten. Then repeat on the other side. Next, slide the lever or knob on the post or spindle, making sure the side with the set screw is positioned downward. Tighten the set screw with the provided Allen wrench. Then repeat on the other side. If you have any trouble getting the knob or lever to go on the post or spindle, you may need to loosen the set screw, and then it should slide right on. It's meant to be a tight fit, so a little more than normal effort is required. Test the function of the lever or knob on each side of the door to make sure it operates smoothly. Now, close the door to make sure the latch bolt is going into the strike hole properly. You want to make sure that you can't open the door just by pulling the lever. When installed properly, it will require that you rotate the lever until the latch is retracted, and then the door can be opened. Now, you can install the strike plate. Make sure to mount the strike plate in line with the hole on your door jamb, where the latch is going to meet it. Then install the 2 provided wood screws, colored to match the strike, and tighten until snug, but try not to over-tighten.
If you close the door and your latch doesn't align with your strike, some additional strike adjustment may be needed. Congratulations on successfully installing your Montana Forge lock. We suggest that you keep the Allen wrench, the threaded collar tightening tool, and any extra screws provided, as these will be required in case you ever need to take the lock off the door. Thank you for watching this presentation by the Montana Forge Virtual Studio. We hope this video was helpful, and we appreciate your business. For other videos in this series, be sure to visit montanaforgehardware.com.